Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
Good morning, Vietnam!
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
I feel the need for speed.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Love means never having to say you're sorry.
You do. You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
What's up? Welcome.
Hey.
Welcome, everybody, to another new and fantastic episode of Ed. What's this show called?
The Cine-Men Movie Podcast.
Zach, what's this show called?
The Cine-Men Movie Podcast. You gotta
There
put
we
some
go.
infant to it.
Some infants? I don't have any infants to put into it.
Or, babies like the opening to The Flash, but that's last week's episode.
Speaking of, a look back, that's what you guys talked about last week was The Flash. I haven't been on this show in a few weeks. The more things, how do I say this again? The more things kind of change, they kind of stay the same.
Mm-hmm.
And like for the last few weeks, this has been almost a different show compared to what it usually has been. And for everybody out there who usually listens or watches, I apologize. And I know going forward, I didn't say this to anybody yet, but going forward, I don't know how much of this we have in us. Going forward, I kind of just, hi everybody, I'm talking to you guys. This is, as the episode is going on, I don't know where else to go but up. I don't want the quality of the show to decrease. I don't want the segments to go away for so long and stay away and decide not to come back. Are we talking about a movie today? Yes, this is what we're talking about. We're still talking about WALL-E. But this is going to be, I think this has to be different moving forward. Life, sometimes just takes its toll on everybody. And I don't know, we're still going to talk about movies, but I don't think, in last week's episode with The Flash, if you guys follow us on like social media and Facebook and Instagram and all that, last week's episode almost didn't happen. Edward and Zach almost couldn't talk about The Flash. So I don't want to I want to stay away from stuff like that. If I say we're going to do something, we're going to do something, and I don't want to say we're going to do something and then all of a sudden, oh, guess what? We couldn't talk about the new and exciting Flash, but here's fucking Terminator from 1985. Let's talk about Terminator.
Right.
I don't want anything like that to keep happening. So we had talked about doing like a conversation piece in the future. We're still talking about WALL-E. We're going to give our few cents on WALL-E, but I think that conversation piece comes today. Like in July, you have Mission Impossible, you have Oppenheimer, you have Barbie, you have Indiana Jones comes out this Friday. Physically, it's impossible for us to go see all these movies, at least on this episode. If you guys want to hear somebody talk about brand new movies every week, I'm sorry, this isn't the show for you. You're going to have to go find them because we're not going to do it here. And I don't mean to be like the Debbie Downer, but that's just the 2 cents of this show right now. We're a year moved away from doing our first ever live event with people coming out and seeing us and talking to us and winning prizes. That happened a year ago next week. What are you guys' thoughts from that? We are a year moved from episode 200, a live event. It brought in people, it brought in money, but since then, it's kind of like,
I guess I'll go ahead and do my 2 cents on this. It's got it's gone to the point where when I first joined the show, which was like 2000 early 2019, I did Fences late 2018, and then went forward with the end game and all that. It was a lot of fun. It was fun getting on here talking movies with you guys, kind of joking around, all this and that. But it's almost like, just in my just for me, I can't speak to you guys how you guys feel about it. I just feel like it's a chore now. It's like, I got to find time to, even though at Wally is an hour and 38 minutes, like I got to find a time to watch that. I got to find a time to watch John Wick Chapter 4, and that's a 3-hour damn movie. And it doesn't, I've lost the fun of it. And, I'm not going to, I've talked to these two about something, and I'm not going to announce it right here, but not yet at least. But it's just, I don't know, like what you said, Johnny, I just don't know how much more I have left in me, Like I said, I love going to the movies. I love talking to you guys about it, but it's just like, how many Marvels can we do? How many DC movies? How many? I mean, we love A24 month, but how much more thought is there left to give? I guess is what I'm saying. What do you think, Ed?
I mean, I can understand getting burnt out on something. I can understand, life gets in the way and professional, stature gets in the way as well. We're all, in our 30s. We're growing a lot. A lot of our professional lives are taking harder tolls on us. Different subjects such as that. But I think that it's not necessarily that any of us don't like this podcast or don't want to do this podcast personally. I don't necessarily think it like that. I just, like I said, I just think personal stuff is getting in the way. I think business stuff is getting in the way. And this podcast is kind of more of a hobby in a way than anything.
Yeah.
Because there's been episodes I've been out of. There's been episodes all of us now have been out of. Juan, you were the last one to, I guess, quote unquote, be X'd out of an episode every now and then, but your personal life caught up to you too.
I know before, like I never would miss one. Like I was always like die hard. I want to be on here every single Monday, Wednesdays now. Even that kind of switched to where, boom, Mondays for 4 years now. It's got to be a Wednesday.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I kind of look at this as kind of a brotherhood, between you three and myself, more than anything. And that's the one thing I really, really like doing it. Yeah, I like movies still. Yeah, I mean, the podcast is fun and all that. But at the same time, like I said, it's kind of like a brotherhood kind of deal because we are the Cine-Men movie podcast. There aren't any others out there that call themselves that. Yes, we're acquainted and allied with the Friday the 14th podcast and different things like that, and they're friends and all that. But us four, yes, Zach didn't know Craig, and Craig didn't know Zach. Me, Juan, and Craig kind of have known each other. Juan and Craig have known each other for a lot longer than I've known Craig, but me and Juan have literally grew up together for almost all of our lives. And then, Zach and I, God, we've known each other for 9 years now. 9 years.
2013, 10 years. Yeah, 10 years this year. That's crazy.
So, I mean, all in all, you're the newest person to be known, other than you and Juan, for that matter. Y'all didn't meet until 2019, so there's that. But it's a friendship thing to me. It's a hobby, a friendship kind of thing. And
what would you guys like to see going forward then? Zach, I know you're on borrowed time. What would you like to see moving forward? Like maybe this thing should just go twice a week, or twice a month. There's a lot of people out there who really enjoy listening to us weekly. But then what do we do if, like, hey, we only meet twice a month? We throw out a review twice a month, but then that Wednesday of the month, three out of the 4 can't be on there. and then what? Then that's a
Yeah.
once a month kind of thing. And what do you see for the rest of this year?
To be completely honest with you, I don't. And just to jump off of what you said, the biggest thing I will say about this podcast is the listenership and the fans, people that really chimed in through emails, whether it be us jumping off bridges or giving their top 5 about something or giving their thoughts or just wanting to talk to us about whatever. I always thought that you had to be like top 5 on Apple Podcast to get to that level. But the fact that, we're just a small podcast here in Oklahoma and we got that type of viewership and listeners, it's quite impressive. And I want to thank you. And I'm sure Ed, Johnny, and Craig would say the same thing. I mean, that's truly something that, going into this little venture, I wouldn't think possible. But moving forward, I get what you're saying. I don't want to say, hey, we're going to do Oppenheimer the last Wednesday of July and I go see it, but no one else does. That really puts a nail in the coffin on that. So maybe, and we haven't really talked about it. Obviously we're just kind of throwing ideas out as we're doing this show. Maybe just do 2 episodes a month. Maybe do a new movie or a throwback or whatever. Maybe do a top 5 plus 5. I know those listeners really enjoy that.
Maybe like going forward towards like next year.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. It's all our lives are crazy right now, financially wise, personally. I still think, like you said, we're in our 30s. There's still a lot more stuff that we want to do in life. And I mean, the fact that we did a show, I'm going to put you guys did a show for almost 5 years, going on almost 6. And we had constant listeners. You guys did pretty much through hell, rain, snow, tornadoes. You guys did just about almost every week. That's impressive. But at the end of the day, it's something like, how much more is left? Even a great television show eventually has got to end. I'm not saying that we're ending the show, but it's just eventually. I think eventually you got to learn to say, I've done my time with this. Does that make sense?
This is supernatural. We're going for 55 seasons.
We're going like until we're like
This is
on our deathbeds. We're all going to be,
bro. Like
we're all going to be in the same nursing home, and we're going to have by that point we'll just have like a visualization of us, and we'll still do the show.
Swear to God.
And again, like it's not something that I just thought I should bring up because I don't think it's this talking. I don't think it's anything out of the norm. And I think going forward, at least the rest of this calendar year, so going to the theater does not feel like a chore, or if it's like, oh hey, I really want to see Barbie, but I got to put Barbie on hold to see Oppenheimer because of the podcast. Like, I don't want to think like that going forward in the movies. So I think going forward, at least the rest of this year, I think a theater show will be for more like something that's big, grand, whatever's big movie coming up. And I think we do something like new Blu-rays or something for the rest of this year.
For sure. I mean, honestly, we can go ahead and because that's the beauty of this movies, music. You have way too much content out there that is possible, for that matter. We have way too much out there that maybe we've said something about, maybe we haven't. You never know. All I know is that this is something I like doing. I'm not able to be here every single week, but that's how the cookie crumbles, unfortunately. Bruce Almighty reference, but no, man. And don't get me wrong, first off, I think we should put out there that this is not like a dying sign of the CMP I think we should put that out there. I mean, if you agree, for that matter.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Like I didn't,
Okay.
and I want to come on and say I apologize because I didn't mean to come on and just completely be a Debbie Downer live as soon as we start the episode. For everybody watching on Emaswap Productions, or anybody who's listening on like Spotify, Anchor, Podbean, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts. I mean, we're everywhere, but I don't mean to just come on and be straight depressing.
Nah. But no, I mean it's always been like a very fun thing to go and do. And yeah, there's been some movies I'm just like, do we really have to do this? Oh my god, But doing it either way, as well as there's been some that I'm just like, I can't wait. Okay, dude, I see this one here in the next 5 weeks. Like, I'm ready for this right now, kind of thing. But yeah, man, it's been fun so far. I mean,
For
almost
everybody
5
who
years.
wants to listen to last week's episode and stream it wherever you can, you can check us out on Facebook.com/the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. The Instagram is all one word /the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. Handle us at the Twitter at Cinnamon405, or you can email the show at cinemen921@gmail.com. Some unwanted time has come back to me, so we will get back into emails next week. Zach, we're going to get able to find out what people think about Wally, what people think about The Flash, what people think about John Wick Chapter 4. We're probably going to also get some emails about Edward and his dog because they won't shut the hell up. So
what'd you guys? Sorry, I was having tech problems. What'd you guys talk about while I was out?
We're just going forward about in-house, movies are probably just going to be that. Zach, if you want to go catch Oppenheimer and talk to us about it on an episode for like 5 minutes, I think that's all the new movie needs until we probably do a full episode when it hits physical media.
That sounds
so
fair.
I think for the rest of the year, I think we'll go and just talk about some movies that are already available for everybody that's listening and watching to stream. Unless it's something big, like an Avengers movie or just something huge that's a must see.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, but moving forward, next week, and I think we're gonna go week to week, every week. The episode, next week is John Wick Chapter 4. The week after that, we're doing the 20th anniversary, I believe, of Pirates of the Caribbean. And then the week after that, we are doing, I don't know. Who knows what we're doing next? But those are the next 2 episodes. So, that sounds like it's going to be a fun lineup. Because John Wick Chapter 4, hey, we've already talked about all the 3 other movies. We've even almost went and did John Wick Chapter 4 in theater, but we didn't. So guess what? Now we're going to talk about it next week. We can compare the physical media. We can just, hey, this is one I missed in theater. Zach, this is one you saw in the theater. Maybe we can do a compare and contrast on, watch 1 to watch 2. But these episodes are definitely, we're not going anywhere. They're going to be kept under an hour. Life is busy. Everything is short and sweet. Everything tastes better when it's short and sweet. So let's go ahead and talk about movies. Speaking of short and sweet, if you guys have not had these cotton candy grapes at Sam's Club, oh my God, you're missing the fuck out. Your
new favorite thing.
They taste like candy. Like it literally tastes like God just dropped them. God's candy. That's what it tastes like. If you're looking for something healthier than popcorn while watching a movie, this isn't a cheap plug, but god damn, go check out Sam's Club. So, and of course, you guys know we have local sponsors all across the board here in Oklahoma City. Go check them out: San Marcos, Rodeo Cinema, CDR Electronics, OKC Soda, Red and Blues Pizza. Go check them out because we are about to talk about Wally. The movie Wally, not the rapper Wally. Right? Isn't there a rapper named Wally? Wally.
Yeah.
I don't have any
Well,
idea.
it's
So
Wale, but yeah, spelled the same.
In the distant future, a small waste collecting robot eventually embarks on a space journey that will ultimately decide the fate of mankind. Uh, right now on IMDb, Wally has an 8.4, Rotten Tomatoes at 95%, the Metascore is at 95%, while Edward and the Google users like it at 92%. Um, Starring Ben Burt, Lisa Knight, Jeff Garlin, Fred Willard, Sigourney Weaver, and directed by Andrew Stanton. Had a release date of June 27th, 2008, with a $18 million budget. This movie has grossed over $532 million. Let's talk about Wally. Guys, for segments, we'll be back next week. We'll talk some recent watches next week and maybe a new top five. But for now, let's talk Wally. Um, Zach, I'll start with you. Do you remember the first time that you saw this movie? Did you see it in the theater? And what was it like, honestly, for this revisit?
So now, when we previewed our thoughts for Wally last week on The Flash, I distinctly remember this came out the same day as Wanted, the James McAvoy movie. So it was like a battle of animation versus action. I didn't see Wally in the theater. I chose to see Wanted instead.
Good choice.
I think I saw.
Very good choice.
Yeah, I know. So many good choices.
I'm being dead honest.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
I guess it's going to preview your thoughts later in the episode. I think I saw this the first time maybe when it hit Blu-ray or DVD like later in the year, and I thought it was impressive. I liked it. I didn't think it was like all the hubla that it was getting when it was released. But on the rewatch when we did our top 5+5 Pixar animation movies, which you can go back and check out in the archives, I was much more in tune with it, and I liked it a lot more. And on this rewatch, it was on the same level. I mean, I really do think that this is an achievement in animation when it came out, which is 15 years ago.
My bad.
Has a great message, and yeah, I would count it as one of the better Pixar films. So, what about you, Ed?
First time I ever remember seeing it was like, 2012, 2013, somewhere in that area. I don't remember exactly when I first saw it, but I know it was one of those 2 years. It was all right. I mean, I wasn't over the moon about it. It was a sweet little story.
I'm
Yeah.
the same way. I'm going to cut you off because, usually, Ed, we have so much to talk about. I'm glad. That's the first Disney movie that got put out on Criterion.
Criterion.
I saw this in the theaters. I've also seen it several times before. The last few movies that I do for this podcast now, because I'm right there with you, Zach, what you said earlier, instead of it making it feel like it's a chore, what I've been doing the last few weeks is just sitting down, not writing anything down. I'll sit down and enjoy the film, and if there's anything I want to critique, I'll write it down later. So I did that with Wally today, and you know what? I enjoyed it in the theater, but this is not a masterpiece like it just seems like it's been out to be all these several years later. I think this is the closest Disney Pixar can get to an A24 film. But I just wasn't in love with it today. So let's talk about it. Essentially, you have Wally. The robots are made to help clean up planet Earth, and now you're in this devastation of a aftermath of a thought of a planet that destroyed itself, probably. At least that's what they're letting you feed on to believe.
Yeah.
And these were supposed to be our saviors. They were supposed to help us clean and pick up trash. I would have liked to see these are the reason that the planet was destroyed, like some kind of Terminator shit, but that didn't happen. But like I don't know. I not in love with it. Like sounds like a lot of other people are for this movie, but I don't know. Zach, what do you think? Where do you think Wally, if we could, we'll do like a positive and negative kind of thing instead of reviewing the entire film like we usually do sometimes. Where do you think maybe, if there is any negatives for you, where do you think some of the negatives are in this movie?
The negative. I'm not going to say it has a lot of negatives. I think the biggest, it's probably more of a nitpick for me, is once we leave Earth and we're on the ship for the remainder of the movie, it
89
kind
cent,
of gets
89-cent fountain drinks too. Awesome. Don't go nowhere else.
Sam's a proud sponsor of the Cine-Men Movie Podcast.
Yeah. 89-cent fountain drinks.
I think once we leave Earth and get on the actual ship with the devolved humans, I guess you would say. I don't really know the exact term for them. It kind of lags a little bit. It's like I cared a lot more when Wally was on Earth digging through trash and finding like these little human knickknacks that he would take back to his like little ship, and there's like a whole collection of them. I really like that aspect. I mean, I think this movie does a lot better as a 30-minute, like a little short before a Pixar movie, than it does an actual full-length film. Because
same here. I think this would be a better film if it was one of those movies that it's just Wally.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like one of those movies that there's only like one or two characters in the entire movie.
Yeah. Go ahead.
One of my biggest nitpicks is that it's trying to show the emotion and all that good stuff of a human, but it's depicting AI robots essentially cleaning up Earth because we have left Earth in horrible disarray with mountains of trash.
Sounds familiar. Sounds like that could actually happen.
Yeah. We're literally supposed to go on a 5-year hiatus from Earth, and these AI robots are supposed to clean it up. And we're supposed to return, and it's supposed to be all like nice and neat and clean and all that. But the thing is I get what they're trying to talk about, what they're trying to say and all that. But at the same time, like, there could have been a little bit more,
Just to be fair, I listened to a little bit of the director's commentary, and that was not his intention with this movie at all. He wasn't trying to make a save the world type peace message. He was just trying to tell the story of Wally, and it evolved into that. Like, so when you watch it now, you're just like, damn. I mean, by and large, it's essentially Amazon in today's world. I mean, if you really think about it,
yeah.
And it's just that was not his intention at all. He was just trying to tell us a story about a little robot that picks up trash.
Because I mean,
all these overfed, white, fucking privileged, heavy set motherfuckers are going to ruin the world. I don't know why I turned into Vince McMahon there, but
not only that, but at the same time, you've got our skeletons are receding basically. They get to a third of their density as well as a third of their size. We grow much, much more obese. Simply because most of the generations are just born sitting in some, hover chair, basically. And that's all they do. They go around everywhere, hover chair. They go around, eat, hover chair. They go around wherever, hover chair all the time. And I mean,
well, and one of the key pieces of dialogue in this film is, I think, one of the holograms as Wally was walking, as it was rolling by. Everything at the tip, everything at your fingertips.
Yep.
What we have that today so bad. Like, the fact that this movie, like I said, is 15 years old, and it pretty much
it aged with us.
It aged with us.
A part of what is going on.
Yeah.
Because okay, and I get it for some things. I get it. If you're too busy or whatever, I do understand it. But like Uber Eats or, having your groceries delivered, having,
you can even watch a podcast at the tip of your fingers.
So literally most people will still like, I don't even know how to change a tire. Watch a 5-minute YouTube video. 5-minute YouTube video, my guy. You will learn how to change a tire. I promise you. It is not hard.
So, Zach, you're kind of saying once Wally technically gets in the story of on the hunt for Eva, right?
Hmm.
Eve.
I kind of
Which I don't have a problem with that. It loses the. I don't want to say it. I don't know if it's the word momentum that I want to use, but it
I
just uses it loses like the innocence of it. Like, okay,
I
now we're
would
doing like this like tech story.
I would use the word it loses its uniqueness
Yeah, that's a good
because
one.
it's really it's a unique story and a unique animated film up until now he's falling in love. He's got to go find this robot. He's on the hunt. He's on the hunt for something. Anyway, um, I
He's on the
enjoyed.
hunt for a plant.
Yeah. And then you get into the side of the story where the captain finds the plant. Speaking of plants, he sees that this was developed in growth. Um, there's and Zach, you talked about the director commentary. I would really like to go back and listen to it. I don't know if it's on the regular old school Blu-ray like I have, or if it's just on the Criterion. But this film just feels so meta. Like it's something you can sit there and just dig your nails into and maybe still not come up with the correct answer.
Well, I feel like, and there's a lot of like
And
homages to different
that's
other movies.
yeah, and that's what I meant when it said Disney is as close to A24 in that one movie than any other movie they put out.
I mean, we talked about ET just a couple of weeks ago. I feel like Wally is very much like a shell of that type of character. He's very innocent. He just wants to do what's right, but he's also trying to find love, you know. But the freaking steering wheel machine that has the red dot, that's Hal, obviously from 2001. So I mean, you could definitely tell that there are a lot of movies that
Paid homage.
maybe influenced, pay homage, and also probably influenced Andrew Stanton while he was making this.
Yeah.
I just and also the score, it feels very John Williams-y to me. I don't know what you guys think, but it just felt very much like a like Spielberg. This is like an animated movie that he, is not on his filmography or something.
You know what director I thought of when I was watching this though, and it's funny that you said 2001 because Hal's in it, of course. But from the very, very beginning to the end, I was like, if Stanley Kubrick made an animated movie, is this something he would make?
Yeah, but it would be a lot more dark and sadistic. Yeah. Wally would have saws coming out of him.
Wally would have used that lighter for like cooking meth or some shit.
Yeah.
Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad episode. But I get.
Let's calm down and take a quick time out. This whole brainchild of talking about this movie right here, Wally, Zach, this was your idea.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, let's do Wally at the end of the month because it's going to be literally like, yesterday was the anniversary date.
Yeah.
So, kind of like, what was your whole plan of like talking about Wally and maybe getting it out there? It's obviously, if you guys want to see it, it's like Zach said, 15 years old. It's on Disney Plus. So if you're hiding under a rock, or if you're Zach and you don't have Disney Plus, it's out there.
Hey, listen, I got Criterion Edition, so
that's what I'm talking about.
No, I really wanted to examine this movie and think, we've had 15 more years of Pixar since then. How does it rank since then? I think I like Soul better than this. I like Luca. This was 2009, so I think Toy Story 3 was the next year. Up
is Coco
the next year. Yep, Coco's out a couple years after that. So there's a lot of good Pixar that's come after this, and so in my mind, it's like, does it still hold up, or is it kind of like, it's a cute little robot, but there have been a lot more movies that have dealt with a lot more mature themes since then.
Yeah.
So I'll be honest. I was going to give this a 10, but the more I think about it, I'm just like,
does it go under the echelons of it's fine?
No, I think it's better than it's fine. I think I just wish the whole movie was him on Earth, because like like you said, that was a very unique concept and a very different idea. But once we get on the ship, it's just okay. We're back in like sci-fi territory, like every other sci-fi movie on a ship. I mean, Star Wars was also a big influence just because of all the different droids and robots that are in this. There are a lot of good moments in this, I will admit. I mean, obviously I'm the one that's probably going to give it the good grade. What about you, Ed? Is there something that stands out? Did you like the animation? Did you like the characters? Did you think it was just kind of okay, we get it, we're going to destroy the world messaging with it, or what?
Nothing really just truly stands out. I mean,
So
it's a decent.
So in
Okay.
your words, to you, it's fine. It's not something you're going to go out of your way to probably pick up again.
Not really, no. I mean, honestly.
Okay. I'll tell you this. I thought that this did a better job of like doing the global warming thing way better than
Leonardo
hitting you over the
DiCaprio?
head. Yes. Oh my God. I thought this did a lot better job than Don't Look Up.
Speaking
'Cause, I
of
mean-
speaking of Leonardo DiCaprio
Uh-oh.
and the movie he was in 1997, there are some events.
Hey.
Oh no, I was talking about. I heard personally that they were talking about making The Man in the Iron Mask 2. That's all. That's where I was going with this. I wasn't gonna. Yeah.
Sorry, I was not expecting that at all.
Oh, I thought you were. Was he in another movie in 1997 or?
I mean, I think everyone knows what the big movie was that year, but yeah, involving current events. Yeah.
Speaking of current events, I mean, let's you guys talked DC last week. Not Zack Snyder. James Gunn picked his Superman today. What'd you guys think?
Yep.
Who'd he pick?
I don't even know his name, to be honest.
He played the husband in Pearl.
Did he really?
Or not the husband, but the boyfriend, yeah.
Oh. That's your new Superman, okay.
David,
I think I was
David. His name is David Cornsweet. Cornswet.
And speaking
That
of
is
DC,
your new Superman.
I think, and speaking of DC, I think Flash is going to be at the theater sooner than we think. Is that the Warren?
It comes out digital July 18th.
Jesus.
I mean,
Dude, that's a month since we reviewed it. Almost. It's already on digital.
July 18th.
That's crazy.
I mean, not bad, but he's like a younger Cavill, basically.
Yeah, it's like if you're going to do that, might as well just stick with Cavill.
He's 29. I mean, okay, he's 11 years younger than Henry Cavill. That's.
But some other thoughts on Wally before we get out of here. Do you guys, Ed? You said you don't see yourself picking this back up again. Zach, are you happy with your Criterion purchase?
Oh yeah, there's a tons of special features on here, including like the little documentary, the Pixar Story, which I think was on Netflix for a while. A lot of commentaries, a lot of behind the scenes. Yeah, it was a worthy buy.
Is it a Criterion
nice.
4K?
Oh yeah, 4K Blu-ray. Yeah, so it's a nice one. So, and I will say, I think that's also some of the fuel that's like giving me a high on this is the animation. The 4K transfer was beautiful. It looked really, really good on 4K. So overall, I think this is a film that does it have its shortfalls? Yeah. Do I think that this is the best Pixar film? No. It may. I don't know where I even ranked it in our list, but maybe I had it top 5, maybe 6 or something like that. But I still think, I still think it holds up to this day, in my opinion.
Any favorite scenes?
Just anytime Wally is doing his job on Earth, and he kind of goes back to his like little ship, and you see all the you see all his little knickknacks that he's collected. I thought that was there's little Toy Story references here and there. Obviously, the Pizza Planet truck, and if you notice real quickly on one of the shelves, there's a Rex. One of the Rex toys is on there. So
If I had to pick something, I'd say probably the little chaotic scene of the repair room or repair world or whatever. That was pretty funny when he grabs the arm and shoots, and then slow mo the beam hits, and that was pretty funny.
I enjoyed the watch of Wally today, um, but you know what? To me, it's just not a memorable Pixar film. It doesn't have memorable scenes for me like Buzz and Woody, or even like with Soul or with Coco. So it's not one that I'm gonna grab every time I want to see Disney or Pixar. Um, but if I had to give it a star rating today, I believe I'm going to give it a 7. So it's one of those movies that when you put it in, you're gonna watch it because of how neatly and how well it's done. But at least to me, the story did not gravitate towards me. So I'm gonna give it a 7.
That's
Zach?
fair. I'm gonna give it like I said, I had it at 10. I'll give it an 8, maybe a 9. It just depends. Like right now at this time, I'll give it an 8. Like I said, I think it's very solid. I think it still holds up. I think the messaging is far more relevant than it was when it originally came out, I think. And Wally's a cute little character, so you got that going for it. What about you, Ed?
Definitely gonna agree. It's not a bad movie. It's not the greatest either. It's just not that memorable. It's all right.
It's fine. It's fine.
So I mean, a 7 sounds great to me. It's definitely decent for a good every seldom watch, but I've seen it 3 times in the past 15 years. So
Oh wow. So it's really not really one of your cup of teas.
like I said, it's not bad. It's just not very memorable. I'm not going to be like, dude, I got to go watch Wally.
Yeah,
Like,
dude, I'm right there with you because when we did our top 5+5 Pixar films, I think I've seen it once before we did that, and I did like a whole rewatch of all of them. So,
for like a Bug's Life or Toy Story, you know, those are
even
quite a bit
something
different.
like Monsters Inc. and
Yeah, Monsters Inc.
Monsters
And
University. I think I like those better. So,
like, this isn't very quotable. There's really not much dialogue in it.
Which necessarily isn't a bad thing.
Not necessarily, no, but I mean, when you can go ahead and like A Bug's Life, when you say you're fired, you're gonna think of one of two things, either that or Trump. Simple as that. The little roly poly guys.
I was gonna think of Italians, but
there you go. If you say I've got a snake in my boots or you got a friend in me, you're gonna think of one thing, Toy Story. It's just stuff like that. Or
so it's not memorable for you.
Not really. I mean, if you go ahead and take a dog or a cat and lift it above your head, everybody's like, "Oh, that's Simba, man."
That's not Pixar. That's completely different, sir.
It's still Disney area. Okay. Okay.
I have not shown anybody the John Wick poster. So next week we are talking John Wick Chapter 4. And you know what, guys? Don't forget there's that episode we did a few weeks back where we talked about our top 5 movies that we have not done yet, which spawned episodes like E.T. It's also spawning an episode like Pirates of the Caribbean in a few weeks. Zach, you pointed out Superbad, which we're going to be doing at the end of the summer. So go back and listen to that episode. What episode was that, Zach?
Let me look. I've got my notebook right here. Hold on one second.
So like those.
Let's see. That was Sicario. Sicario episode. That was back in May. Wow, that was back in May.
So go check out that episode where we talked our top 5 movies that we have not done yet. And you know what? Instead of going to the movie theater, we talk about some of those classics. So next week, Ed, you're a big fan of John Wick Chapter 1, 2, and 3. Have you seen 4 yet?
I actually have, just last week.
So
nice.
Watch it again. We're going to talk about it next Wednesday, July 5th.
How about you,
Zach, you were super excited. You went and saw this in theaters. Have you rewatched it yet?
Not yet. I got it sitting over there by the the Xbox, so gotta get to it.
So I'm excited. I just don't know if I should watch 1, 2, and 3 again. I think I'm just gonna watch 4 as itself, by itself.
Yeah, watch 4 by itself and just kind of see what you think just as for this one.
So I'm excited, but that's what we're talking about next week. John Wick Chapter 4. Keanu Reeves, Bill Skarsgård, the cast of John Wick Chapter 1, 2, and 3. I believe they're all back for this one as well. This is a movie that we did not check out in theaters and we did not review on the podcast. So we did the first 3. Why not start July off with John Wick Chapter 4? So
for July 4th. There you go.
You know what? Like I said, last year was our 300 or 200th episode. And I do want to say this to you guys and everybody listening. I don't know if that's going to be the last episode, but I do want to make it to episode 300, which is in 1 year. Next July, it's our 300th episode. I at least want to make it to 300 and see how and where we can go from there. And I'm calling it right now. Next July, we are reviewing 300 for our 300th episode.
There you go.
So,
He just wants to see sweaty dudes with no shirts.
I do. But next week, John Wick Chapter 4. Oh, not Red and Blues Pizza. Anybody else have any final words of Wally before we head on to John Wick and the world of that franchise again?
No, if you are a Pixar fan, I think this is definitely a must watch. But like I said, I think all of us agree there are better Pixar movies, personally, that we think are better. So
yeah. Zach, we'll start with you. You ready? And are you excited for John Wick Chapter 4?
Yep, I'm worried about the girth, but it flew by in the theater, so hopefully it'll be a same thing for this watch. So
Ed's never worried about the girth. You got to see some of the sizes of those double cheeseburgers he gets. But Ed, are you excited of John Wick next week?
Yeah, man. I can't wait to actually go and view it again. So
I've never seen it, but I am worried because John Wick 1 was a 10, 2 was a 9, 3 was an 8. I'm worried about 4. I don't know if I don't know how I'm gonna feel about it. So I'm definitely excited to get back into that world of John Wick. So, but other than that, all
right.
Other than that, I don't know, but I'm excited. It's John Wick. It's Keanu Reeves. And you know what? Episode 3 in July, Renfield. That was one of my recent watches that we have not talked about yet, but that is an episode in July. I think that's going to be a fun conversation as well. I really want to get your thoughts and opinions, Zach, on just the Dracula world and how they paid homage to the 30s version. So I can't wait to talk to you about that. I'm excited, honestly. I'm looking forward to that conversation with you, Zach, than I am anything else the next 2 weeks as far as John Wick or Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, I'm excited to rewatch it. I saw it in the theater, and it'll be interesting to see on a rewatch at home at the home and see what that experience will like if it translates over.
And Ed, I'm excited to see you're such a blood and gory kind of fun, like you're just into fun movies, and this was a fun watch for me. So I'm also excited to see what you think about Renfield. And you guys know I'm a huge Awkwafina fan, so
yeah,
right.
I'm just glad that you already watched Avatar: The Way of Water. It's like, okay, we're good. We don't have to do that.
Oh my god, that was the biggest piece of blue shit that I've seen all of last year. How James Cameron got away for spending that much money on a unworthy sequel, I'll never fucking imagine it. And I can't believe there's people out there who appreciate and love Avatar: The Way of Water. You people need to refocus your minds and not even watch movies at all, because I'm hot now. No, I'm sweating.
All right,
I'm red.
All right, guys. So it's been a while. We got a rant of the day. We haven't had one of those in a while.
But I'm pissed. I sat there. And they're not cheap movies unless you get it on Disney Plus or they're not cheap movies. They're Avatar. Let's hike up the fucking price to $32.99, and then you sit there and you watch it, and it literally is. It to me it was honestly garbage. I feel like me giving it a 6 was generous. I feel like it only got a 6 because of how beautiful it looked.
Did you get all the different movie references? Titanic, Moana, Free Willy, all the different things that happened in the movie.
I would rather watch Michael Jackson and Free Willy than sit there and watch that piece of shit again. I was really disappointed. Like I said, like I said in the post, like if you made that movie in 2012 or 2013, I think it would be a little enjoyable. But to wait that long and to have that kind of story follow the first one, unbelievable.
And the fact that it's 3 hours and 12 minutes.
Don't Breathe 2 was a better sequel to Don't Breathe than Avatar 2 was to Avatar.
Yep. I would agree with that.
I'm pissed. But
well, it's always good to end the show with you being like a rant, so
my blood pressure's up now. I gotta go take a chill pill. But no, I mean that's all fun, and to everybody who likes Avatar 2, I'm just yanking your chain. If you really do want to send out your star ratings for Avatar 2, send them in. We're gonna get back into the email bag next week. So again, if you guys have not checked out the emails lately, I will get to it. I'll read them this week since I have plenty of fucking time, and hit us up right there. CINEMEN921@gmail.com. Zach's tired. That is Edward. I'm Juan, and I'm saying we'll see you guys next week for John Wick Chapter 4.
Bye.
Right here on the Cine-Men Movie Podcast.